Hi, everyone. My name is Shelly Dressel, and this is going to be a ULB mini about the Olympics that just started on Friday. Now, I wanted to just share that I love the Olympics. Every 4 years, now it's every 2 years, but I loved watching them. I always pay attention. I certainly don't know every athlete by name. However, to me, it's just a time out of space or space out of time, however you want to think about it. And to just watch these amazing, amazing people that are so athletic. And in my opinion, just getting there is a huge, huge accomplishment. So it's about showing the perseverance of individuals that are there, the athletes, and it represents, really good athletes, obviously, but also it represents anyone that's doing something that is really, really, really important to them, and they do it no matter what, and they just really put themselves all out there. And so, therefore, I have always enjoyed the Olympics. Now, on Friday, because it's in France, I'm in the US, it's 6 hours ahead of me. So the opening ceremony started while I was still out busy doing other things. So I was over at my daughter's house, and we actually started watching it when they were already doing the what do you call it? The ships coming down the Seine. And so I kind of thought from there to the end, and I kept saying, "What is up with the illusion of the fish running? Running on the water, and we were having conversations. Is it CGI? Is it a submarine? Is it on the periscope? What's up with that? And then, of course, the person walking, riding the horse in and then walking. And I kept saying, what is up with this? It looks like a female, but that face looks like a male. There was one image where they looked at the face, and so anyway, we're all having a discussion about it. And I didn't really know what the meaning was. I just thought, okay, there must be something. And so, in the 2 days since then, obviously, there's a ton of information all over the internet now. And especially because, my grandkids were in the room, I'm sure we would have turned it off if we had seen all that horrible depiction of the Last Supper, and the gluttony, and just their way of showing things. I mean, some of these videos I've seen, I'm appalled. I'm appalled that they have used a venue that obviously has been taken over for a very, very long time. But these athletes, most, when you think of the thousands of athletes that are there, you can't tell me every single one of them is tuned into what was going on. So I felt like it was not a depiction of the athletes, but an intention or a focus that someone wanted to get across. And it came across loud and clear. We're controlled by Satan, and we're going to show it to you in every way, shape, and form that we can. Now, just disclaimer, I could care less what anyone does in their life in terms of their personal choice, in terms of their gender, in terms of, relationships. That is 100% up to the individual adults only. And so I just think that splashing it out on such a big event, and I have heard that, I have read that they've already lost many sponsors, and YouTube has taken a lot of it down. So good for them. That is the appropriate time to take things down, not me taking me down. But I'm rambling here. So I just want to see if Brysentia or El Bayon, just see what they have to say, if anything, about all this. Greetings. It is I, Brysentia. El Bayon is here too. It is a little bit the two of us speaking. And honestly, Crystalia is in the back working to send energy and light through the speaker, through Shelly here, into everyone that is listening, so that every person is able to feel love, compassion, and awareness. So the question is, what is going on with the Olympics, with the show? I am well aware of what it is because I've watched it through Shelley's eyes. I was well aware of what was going on the night that it took place. Um, One of the questions that I know some of you have been saying is, Was it specifically put out there to bring everyone's attention to what's been going on? Was it specifically put out there to cause people to get upset and say, what is this? How many times have there been things that were told to people, but told in such an abrupt and harsh way? And on the flip side of that, one of the reasons that they have not had the full disclosure and they have not done everything is because they've been trying to let it go slowly, gently, and just take time to understand what is going on. So here's splashing in your face, cannot avoid it. Well, yes, you can, and I hope you just turned off your TV. And then on the flip side, we've been leaking for the last 6 or 7 years about what's been going on and, gradually bringing people up. So that is what I am going to look at and talk about. But I did want to say to you, whenever things like this come up, because there's going to be a lot of it right now, there's going to be a lot of things that are just put in your face for you to make a choice. And it is very hard because you're thinking to yourself, well, I want to support the athletes and all the hard work they've done. But at the same token, I do not want to support the people that are supporting something, that you don't agree with. And in most cases, I've always just said, just turn it off. Just, you don't have to be there. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to participate in it. And when it comes to the things that are happening in your world, you can choose to engage in arguments with people. You can choose to walk away from arguments with people. In everything that is going on, this is but another huge opportunity for you to anchor your divinity, anchor your truth, anchor all that is what is your reality and what you want to put out to the world around you. Because ultimately, you are the one living your life. You are the one that is making these choices. Well, now, that being said, let me get quiet here and go back in and go back to, okay, let me just share with you. There's a lot of this perception that is coming across to me is that this was done by the nefarious ones, because as I send my energy into that situation, and I did watch it from afar, but as I come into it, it's a very low vibrational feeling that causes me to just feel yuck, just feel gross energy. So let me be quiet for a second here. Let me look at this. Okay, as I'm looking at it, it does feel as if the people that were in charge of the Olympics, just as with all of these other major organizations, they have been taken over throughout the past 20 to 50 years by the nefarious ones. And this has the energy of the nefarious ones. It feels as if it was put forth, that it would have some sort of a um, show such as this many, many, many years ago. It was not just decided within the last 1 to 2 years, but this feels like their 50-year plan, where everything has been like showing you bits and pieces, as they call it, the conditioning of humanity, so that when these things happen, it's a trigger in the brain that says, oh, yeah, we've seen this before, and you don't have that same reaction. The good news that I want to share about this is that this has really rattled many, many people. So if there was prior conditioning that would cause people to just say, oh, well, whatever, then, and there are many, many people that are saying it is just creative license, or it's just creative changes. But is it really? Is it creative license when you are putting forth a very, very, very clear message that has to do with humanity, that has to do with taking down humanity, that has to do with utilizing a forum like this? And I'm sorry, I'm getting bogged down. So give me a second here. So there was a clear intention that this was going to be a way to get many people under their mind control, That was what a lot of this was. It had programming. It had especially the individual that rode the horse in, the white horse and all the silver that was represented. You couldn't see the face. It was like the Reaper, the Grim Reaper. That was what that was to represent. And the fact that it was holding the flag and that the flag represented the Olympics, this was originally put forth. It was very, very back in the, what was it, 3,000 years ago when they had the original, no, it was way longer than that. When they had the original Olympics, it was done by the nefarious ones as a means of putting forth control and manipulation. And when they resurrected it in the late 1800s, it was done for the same reason. So what that was representing, the intention that was put forth was that that individual coming in on the horse was there to indicate that I am representing the people. You see all the flags, you see all the people holding the flags behind me, coming in with me, and I am bringing you to your new beginning. And your new beginning is going to include Satan, and your new beginning is all about whatever it is that Moloch or whatever it is that we want you to have, and that you're going to listen to us, you're going to be controlled by us, you are going to just continue to be sheeple, you have nothing of your own, you have, it's a very heavy, nasty energy, in my opinion. And that was what they wanted to put forth to humanity. However, most of these individuals, no, I'm going to take it back. There are so many of these individuals that have been gone, that are gone. They've been removed. They are no longer either on the earth, or they are in prisons, or they are just not a part of this. However, this is also being used as a way of rounding up more of the people that have either eluded them or just have gotten away with things and they have not been able to be taken up. There's child trafficking going on, there's human trafficking going on. And honestly, what that did was it created such a rift in the energy of people. And there's so many people, because you've got your computers, you've got all those that love to do the research, that love to look into things. And within 24 hours, it was like everyone knew what the message was, even less. And therefore, if you know what the message is, you can choose not to cooperate with that. You are not going to be a part of that. You are stating that intention. I am not a part of that. This feels as if it's also going to come out as this is what the nefarious ones wanted for humanity, and this was already programmed, so they went ahead with the program. And a few of them were truly believing that this is going to be okay, that this is, that everyone would accept this as okay. And maybe on the surface, in the initial reality, that was the reaction. However, as soon as anyone really stops to think about it, or stops to think about what this is representing, it feels as if there are many, many, many that are just pulling out, pulling a part of it, and just will not have anything to do with it. That being said, we're speaking of the opening ceremonies. We're speaking of the people that are the controllers and the creators of the Olympics. We are not talking about the athletes. There are certain athletes from all of the countries that are there that were a part of it, and they understood what was going on. But 98% to 99% of the athletes know nothing about this. They may have heard things in the past. They may have witnessed certain things. However, the athletes are there to do what athletes do, which is to compete. And so we're just kind of sending an energy through this enough to clear it out, that the athletes can have their moment in time, that they can do what they've trained for all these many, many years, and that they can do the very best that they can. We are also, in the other side of things, just shining the light as bright as we can, that all of these individuals will be taken down, that they will be illuminated, that they can no longer work behind the scenes, that they can no longer do that programming and manipulating from behind the scenes, that this light is shining as brightly as possible, and that the only ones that are going to follow that death are those that are of the nefarious. I remind you that the light is here. I remind you that we are in the light. We are already arrived. We say this all the time, but then you see something like that and you got to think, what the heck? Are there still two timelines? Is this still? And so let me take a minute and look at that. What this is doing is causing a variation or like a blip, and what it's showing is things that on that people thought were completed, that they are resurrecting something. And what we're seeing is that there are energies, and perhaps this is what wanted to be illuminated about all this, but there are energies that are trying to say, we still have earth, we're still going to be on our earth. And we have spoken to you before about the fact that all earth energies were combined into one, and that you no longer have multiple different earth planes. But what they're trying to do is recreate that so that those that are not going to ascend to the higher light will have their own place to go back to. But again, it cannot be in this universe. So they would have to go outside of this universe. So we're just going to shine the light on everybody behind this. We're going to shine the light that all of humanity use this as a means of understanding what has been going on, and that they speak up. They no longer say, oh, that's okay, I'm not gonna, it's not my concern, it's not about me. But instead they speak up and speak out and say, I don't agree with that. I am not going to follow Satan. I am not going to follow any of those nefarious intentions that were put forth by that all those people that are involved in those various things. But instead, I am of the light. I am going to remain in the light, and that is how I'm going to look around at the world around me. I say no to human trafficking. I say no to things that are deviant behavior. I say no to anything at all that would pull people down into a horrible existence. And I say yes to the light. So we're beaming that light, not just the three of us, but all of the universal beings have been cautiously watching you to make sure that humanity gets it, and that they make those changes, and that they move forward into the full disclosure and everything that needs to take place. It's been hard to be in this energy. So in summary, I do just, I guess, want to reaffirm for you that yes, there was a lot of true nefarious energies in that opening ceremony. And now wait and see what happens in those 2 weeks until the closing ceremony. See if you see a difference. Support the athletes, support those that had nothing to do with it, and shine the light and bring down those that are of the negative. Thank you for taking a moment to listen with me on Siluia.